Welcome back to Plums. In today's episode, we are joined by James from Zona, this RWA super app that's building on Monad. We talk about real estate all around the world, how to get in front and build your wealth, and so much more. Let's get straight to the episode. James, welcome. I'm super excited to have you on Plums today. Now, it's Zona, the name of your product, your protocol is Zona, and as many of our listeners know, my first name is Ben. And so for all our Hebrew listeners out there, it's Ben Zona. And if you're not Hebrew, if you don't know what that means, it means son of whores. Now, shout out to Gabriel Haynes, a big friend of the podcast, for pointing this out to me. And obviously, James, we had some fun with Kuru because they had a name that we didn't really appreciate what it meant before. And I remember when I told you, because obviously I didn't know that Kuru meant whore in Hebrew, and I remember messaging you guys and you're like, it's too late to change it now. But James, I want to play a quick game with you if you're willing to, which is I've called it swear or square. And what you have to figure out is whether this word, I'm going to tell you the word, I'm going to tell you what the country it's from, or the language, and you have to tell me if it's a swear word or not a swear word. Are you up for that, James?
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
Okay, so the first, and you say, so swear or square? Fika, which is Swedish. Fika, is that a swear or a square?
That's a swear.
It sounds rude, right? But actually, it's just tea and biscuits because the Swedish are so wholesome. Yeah, but fika, because it sounds exactly like good. Okay, we're going for an Italian one now, and I may say this wrong, but it's cazzo, or something. Cazzo, we'll go with. Is cazzo a swear or a square?
Kazo.
Yeah,
It sounds sort of Japanese to me, actually.
yeah.
Uh,
What do
I
you
mean,
think?
it sounds pretty normal to me, so I'll say it's more of a square.
Okay, so the Italians, when they say cazzo, they mean dick. So they mean penis. It is a swear word. It's just the way they're just so it flows so easily for the Italians. What about this one? So German. This is German, and it's gift. Do you think gift is a swear or a square?
Gift in German.
Yeah.
Um, that's a tough one. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's gift, I'm gonna assume that it's like something like normal. So yeah, like a square. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, square. So it is a square. So it's not a swear word. It means poison in German. So like if a German's giving you a gift, it's poison. So this one I think you're gonna know. This one I think because I've heard it before. In fact, there's a few on the list that I've heard before. This one is either Spanish or Portuguese, and it's puta. Is puta swear or square, James?
Puta. Yeah, I've never heard of that word actually. I mean, I learned Spanish like when I was really young, but
Yeah.
obviously I've totally given it back to my teacher.
Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna have to guess it's a swear word. Like since you mentioned it's like
It
pretty
is a
famous.
swear word, yeah. Yeah, do not call Spanish teachers puta. It means the same as zona. It's another whole word. So there you go. Okay, what about? So this is English. So this is a fun one because it's English. Slag. Is that
Slag.
square or swear? Yeah.
Um, I've actually never heard of that word. It sounds it sounds sort of normal. But
Yeah.
slag gives me the sense that it's sort of like inappropriate. So I'll say that's more towards a swear word.
Okay, swear it is. Yes, it's so good. It's one of those English terms like you slag, and again, it's kind of like zona and puta. Um, but yeah, it's like a proper English one. And it's so funny because Americans will think we're just talking about like molten rock when actually we're talking about a woman that we think is with less than ideal morals. Okay, so kaki Japanese, is kaki in Japanese a swear or a square, James?
Kaki in Japanese. It
Yeah.
it sounds like you're. I mean, I do love watching anime, but I've never heard of that phrase in any
Yeah.
anime. But so I'm gonna
Okay.
have to guess it's inappropriate, like since I've never heard of that word in any anime I've seen.
Yeah, well, it sounds inappropriate. There's the trick. This is my evil plan. So kagi is square, and it means there's like a particular type of fruit, like I think it's called persimmon fruit or an oyster, depending on the kanji. So yeah, if
Oh,
someone
okay.
asks if a Japanese person offers you kaki, it's all good. And so yeah, the final one in this section, merde in French. Merde in French. Do you think that's a square or a swear?
Murd in French. Uh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I mean, it sort of sounds like murder. Like that doesn't sound too good to me. Like I'm gonna have to say it's a swear, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, good. It is a swear, but it means like shit, like poo, like but it sounds classy because they're French. Here's a fun
yeah.
fact for all our listeners: if you haven't been to France, France smells like mud. By the way, just a top tip. So right, I've got a lightning round for you now, James, and we're gonna go super quick. You're gonna shout out swear or square after every word, okay? So we're gonna go as quick as we possible. So, scheisse,
Swear.
correct. Lapin,
Square.
yes, well done. Putain.
Swear.
Yes, yes, he's on a roll. Chingada.
Swear.
Yes, let's go. Brochin or Brochin.
Oh,
What are we going for?
brochin.
Yeah.
Square. Square.
Yes, square again. Okay. Testa di cazzo.
Uh, I can't even guess like what language this is.
It's Italian.
Square.
It's Italian. Ah, testa di cazzo because we had cazzo before, so it means it's that on your head. So we're nearly there, but doing so well. Pan in
Oh,
pan. What's pan? Is pan square or square? Square or square? Pan.
pan. What language is this?
I'm not telling you. This is a whole new level of excitement for you, James. Basically, just either or now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say that's a swear
It's a square. It
since
means
it's so short.
it's bread. But anyway, kurva. I hear this all the time. Kurva. Is that a swear or a square?
Swear.
Yes, let's go. I hear that all the time. It's Polish, and it's the same as Zona, which is good. Torta in Spanish, swear or square.
Torto.
Yeah, torta.
That's
Yeah,
that's a square. That's a
yeah, it
square.
means a cake. And then fortiti in Italian. What's that?
Fortiti.
Yeah.
It it sort of sounds something like a horror like kind of word.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that's a swear.
It is a swear. You did so good with that lightning round. That was fantastic. So I feel like Plums as a podcast, we're an educational platform, and today we have given lots of people around the world, real insight and understanding into all these different swear words from around the world. But importantly, my mother threatened to watch my podcast once, and and this is one that she definitely is not allowed to watch. We are not sending this to my mum. But James, so Zona. Now, I don't want to say disappointing, but you're not building a whole super app, right? It's something else. Tell us what Zona is. Tell me, tell me the super app that Zona's building.
Yeah. So Zona is a RWA focused lending platform. So say you have $100 of RWAs, you can come to Zona and take out a $50 loan in stablecoins. In the real world, if you own a house, you can always go to the bank and take out a 50% of its value in a mortgage. But this is quite difficult to do in the blockchain with RWAs at the current stage. So on Zona, your RWAs no longer have to sit in your wallet, and you can deposit that into Zona and take out the first on-chain mortgage. So this is our biggest framework at the current stage.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, and as you say, it's you're able to take these kind of investment decisions, move, take loans out against your RWA collateral, which, as you say, isn't something that can typically be done at the moment, especially over real estate RWAs. And that's some of where you started with real estate, but you guys want to build this super app. Tell us some of the other assets that you are considering and why you've decided to consider other assets and your thesis on becoming that RWA super app.
Yes. So yeah, just to add on my point just now, the whole thesis of us is we actually take the RWA process end to end. And what this means is we take it from minting of synthetic assets to tokenizing of real estate and other assets, and then we offer that onto our lending platform as collateral. And through this method, this is like the only way that you can ensure that any asset or collateral you provide on our lending platform is solid. We've done the due diligence in the tokenization stage so that we can be sure of the value of this real estate, and then obviously we could provide lending for these assets later on. And then after that, we'll also be greenlighting other types of RWA tokens on our platform, as long as we think that these are issued by trustworthy partners and we understand that they've done the due diligence, and then we can also greenlight that as collateral on our lending platform in the later stage.
Yeah, super cool. And I think that approach that you've taken of as you said initially, taking things from the very inception all the way through is allowing you to have really tight quality control on the types of assets, to be able to drill down into the data. And I've seen you've shown me some of the data and how you manage and how you track these things, and it's super not only interesting but I'm going to use the word novel in terms of the way that you're able to do that. And then, as you say, you're building in with select third parties, other RWA tokens, let's call them, that are going to be able to use as collateral. And the super app element, the bits that impressed me were that it's not just, oh hey, you can mint these assets, right? That's the kind of base level, minting some assets, and there's a few of those out there. And you've talked about, oh, now you can lend, you can borrow against it. But you're taking things to another level, right, in terms of these super app functions, with the ability to loop, the ability to trade, and so much more within the same application, right? Which is something that we haven't seen other providers do. So yeah, just take us through your thoughts there and why this is going to be great for so many people.
Yeah. So most RWAs at the current stage, like, you say you tokenize something, it sits in your wallet, pays you 45% yield, and that's it. It sits idle in your wallet. But this isn't really DeFi, and we've developed this idea of super app because we wanted to create a world where RWAs are composable and where you can actually integrate these RWAs into lending platforms, and to make sure that these apps are composable. And so what we're doing here is we're taking the process end to end. So we first start off by selecting quality real estate assets or other assets. Like, we tokenize them, we work with tokenization partners, we put these on the blockchain. And second, we have price indexes for real estate. So this means that we allow users to mint synthetic real estate tokens. And thirdly, we create a lending platform so that all our users could supply all these RWA tokens on a lending platform as collateral, and then you can take out loans And then at a later stage, we will also be including other types of assets, including like stocks, private credit funds, T-bills, etc., as collateral on our planning platform. So this will be a super app where everyone can make their RWAs composable and truly integrate into the DeFi space.
Yeah, super cool. I mean, basically, what you've identified is that RWAs is significant narrative, that the winds are behind the sails of RWA as a kind of segment of Magic Internet Moneyland. But you've correctly identified that the DeFi component just isn't there. They're basically siloed. As you said, oh yeah, you can buy this token and get some yield, but then it's just sat there, and that's not how it would work in the real world. So to give you a real world example, as and some of the listeners know, I run a hotel business, and hotels work almost in the same way you're talking about, which is that I'm in a property right now, and I use that as collateral. So my actual cash in, so you only have to put a deposit down, obviously, to buy a hotel. You take debt from a bank, which is the equivalent of taking a loan against a piece, and that makes it incredibly more efficient. That yield, so the asset's only going to produce a certain yield, right? But if you can borrow against it and use that money for something else, or take a lower cost basis of buying it, your yield actually increases significantly, right? And that's how it works in the world. That's how everything works. But at the moment, on chain, you can just buy it and that's it. And what you're doing is building this super app that makes it more in line with with the real world. Now, James, I on Plums, we love to have an interlude, and I want to show you a short video that I enjoy a lot. And let's roll the tape.
Let's do it.
No. The one that really gets me is the those tubes that people can throw debris down. As a kid, I'd always look at those and go, those look like flipping awesome slides. I want to go down there, and then obviously one construction worker ends up doing it. That guy, I think he's called Adam Rose. He does so many of those videos, and he started doing it with those construction ones, and then he does it for loads of other stuff. He's got some really good ones where he's a priest, but yeah, fantastic. Have you ever worked in construction? Is it something like, how did real estate come about as a thing for you guys?
Yeah, so I personally started my career in real estate. So I actually used to work in valuations and investments. So I used to do a lot of due diligence, a lot of investment proposals for real estate across the world. So that was including places like Hong Kong, Singapore, London, Australia. So it was pretty unique opportunity. And that was also why I was able to develop the real estate indexes in Zona. And that was because of my unique experience between working across these different nations, working with different professionals around the world. So that gave me a good grasp of how markets across different worlds worked, especially on the real estate side. And then obviously then we started off creating these indexes, allowing for people to speculate on real estate more efficiently. And then obviously leading to the predictions market MVP that we put on Monad, which obviously popped off. We had over 100K weekly active users at one point. So yeah, I think that was a pretty interesting journey for me personally.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, that's fun. And real estate is a super interesting business, globally, and for you to have that insight in, what is considered when approaching a real estate investment, how to value real estate, and you mentioned different markets that you've worked in around the world. And it's gonna pay dividends with what you're doing with Zona for sure. Having that experience. What I want to ask you though is, young people now, What's the best way for them to catch up wealth wise? Like, how should they generate wealth in your opinion? Obviously, we don't give any financial advice, but boomers are so far ahead. They're consuming their wealth rather than necessarily passing it on. For you, if you could speak to some young people today, what would you say in terms of how to generate wealth, for themselves and for their future?
Right. So I think there are two main strategies I personally look at. One is you do like a daily purchase or like a monthly purchase of Bitcoin or Ethereum. So that's one way to accrue wealth over time, like even gold, real estate, or any type of asset. And secondly, I think one thing is if you have RWAs and you'd love to increase your capital efficiency, you can always do that on Zona. So say you have a piece of RWA real estate, you can put down Zona as collateral, and like you said, you can always take out a loan against that, and then you can buy even more real estate and then increase the loop. And through this way, you can actually increase your APY from 5% all the way to like 15, 20%. And in in that sense, your capital depreciation actually goes up like pretty immensely if you get 20% a year, and that will like eventually go up like twice in say like 3 to 4 years, and then even more over time. So I think yes, boomers are extremely ahead of us, but there are definitely new types of assets or new DeFi strategies that we can use to like catch up. And I think using Solana as a leverage, like people can definitely get up,
Yeah.
catch up to the boomers.
Yeah, super interesting advice. I mean, yeah, obviously, Bitcoin, other magic internet monies, being able to, essentially, effectively dollar cost average every month. And, that's something I've done for the past 8 years or something, just buying a small amount. And that does grow and compound over time, with that compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin being so high. And when we talk about boomers and people that have a lot of wealth in the world right now, so much of it is through real estate. We've had this kind of real estate boom across the world where, land and building values have just kept going up. They've just been going up, going up, going up, going up. And they've been able to capture a lot. And now young people are kind of blocked out because it's so expensive to get in. They can't even get on there. And so, yeah, RWA assets like the ones that you're putting together give that opportunity for people to get in. And then now you're making it capital efficient to be able to do it. And you talked about, if you can, through looping the equivalent, I gave that example of a hotel where, essentially every commercial real estate, you use leverage. And you use leverage for buying your own house through a mortgage, right? And that's why it's so good, and you get this huge upside potential. And that's going to give people an opportunity. Something I wanted to ask you is, like, I would like a villa in Miami, like Miami Beach. Like, it's something that I covet. Something it's almost bad how much I would like that at some point in my life. But hey, they're super expensive, right? Like millions and millions and tens of millions, really. If for me, how could I use Zona to get myself ready for that market? Because it keeps outpacing, it keeps going up, keeps escaping me. Yeah, how could I invest in Miami on Zona and then invest in Miami because of that? Like, yeah, tell me how I might be able to use Zona to catch up to certain real estate locations.
Yeah, so I think something that a lot of people don't realize is how like a small increase in real estate prices actually evolve into a big capital appreciation, and that is because of the leverage that you can gain in real estate. And in the traditional world, like if you want to gain price exposure or you want to buy a house in Miami, that's gonna cost you like at least $2 million, and as a young person, like that's not possible to do. But on Zona, like what you can do is you can buy like a piece of like a RWA real estate. It may be in Hong Kong. It may represent a property in Miami or Tokyo, and you can obviously do the looping strategy, like I mentioned. You can put that onto our lending platform as collateral. You can take out a loan, and then you can keep on looping that, and then your APY suddenly goes from like 5 to 6% to all the way to like 15 to 20%, and that's not even counting the capital appreciation from the price of real estate. So on top of the looping API you gain, you also gain like an insane like capital appreciation once the housing price goes up. So through Zona, like us younger people, we actually have a chance to gain price exposure to real estate or different types of assets that we were not able to acquire before due to like the barriers to entry.
Yeah, nice, really cool, really, really, really cool. Now, given your experience, what you know, and what you've done for most of your life, I want some alpha, James. I'm after the alpha in terms of real estate. Where should we be buying? And if we're talking about actual, houses or apartments and things, or commercial real estate, what should we be buying? So, yeah, give us some alpha, James, on the Plums podcast. What real estate? Where should we be buying?
So yeah, that's a super interesting question. In fact, we also talked with Balaji like in when we were in
Yeah.
network school. So that's like so we were actually invited to network school through the residency program by Monad, and we were fortunate enough to speak with Balaji's on our plans to in the future, and he personally was super bullish on car parks, and car park is actually quite a niche and special type of real estate because it requires minimal management. Uh, in bigger cities like Hong Kong or Miami, the supply is also always like super low, and the demand always goes up due to the demand for cars. And we actually think that car park will be a outperforming asset in the near future because of the high demand, especially once people transition into electric vehicles and the scarce demand, the scarce supply for car parks. We think is definitely like an alpha for real estate, in our opinion. And then obviously for us, we've
Seriously cool.
also
That's fun.
developed a Zona Parkup token for our users. So we're actually in the process of creating that. So well, how it will work is we'll be creating like a Zona Parkup token, which will represent a your investment in say like 15 to 20 different car parks across Hong Kong, and then you can gain the price and rent exposure to these type of real estate through our Zona Parkup token, and that will come up very soon after Monad Mainnet comes up.
Yeah, really cool. That's so fun. I mean, car parking. I spent a third of my life in politics, and where we are, car parks represent a significant part of the revenue for the local authority. So they own a lot of the car parks, and they make millions of pounds from these car parks. And as you say, the actual you mentioned about kind of you didn't use the word maintenance, but you said management of them, and that cost has actually come down as people are using less coins, using card payments. That the need for a guy to go around every day and collect the cash, that's been reduced. The chance of theft, which used to happen, has gone down, and they make a lot of money. And when I've spoken to various landowners and local authorities, car parking is something that I'm always after. I've actually got a planning application for a car park in right now, James. I'm trying to build a new car park at the moment. So that's funny. Yeah, car parking is
That's really smart. Yeah.
it's a hot commodity. Like you need it. People need it. I mean, I guess the kind of super long term, just to steelman the thesis, is whether Tesla want for some people to have cars and then there'll be way more robo taxis, and so it's whether in city locations whether we'll have as many vehicles on the road because we'll be sharing more. But that's at least a cycle away, investment cycle away. There's still huge upside, even if that did entirely replace it. and it won't, because people still have their own personal car. They still need to get places. Yeah, super interesting. Okay, James, we're coming towards the end. As you know, we have a feature on the Plums podcast, and it's called "How Big Are Your Plums?" And this is the truth and dare. It's truth and dare. I didn't tell you it's truth and dare, but it is truth and dare. So I've been given from another founder a
Okay.
truth and a dare, right? And I'm going to tell you what they both are, and you have an opportunity not to do them. If you don't want to do one because you think, yeah, no, this just isn't, this isn't prudent for me to do, then that's cool. All we need to do, you have to give me something to give away to the listeners. So the listeners are going to win either way. So if you don't want to do them, we sort out a giveaway and we'll release it with this episode. So, how big are your plums, James? So the truth is, what's the most money you've ever lost on a single crypto investment? And the dare, I love this dare so much, is to send a text message to your parents saying that you've just become the CEO of Bitcoin.
All right. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for that. That's
Okay,
that's fun. Let's do it.
Okay, nice. Well, what we'll do is we'll start with the truth and then we'll move on to the day. Yeah. So, what was the most money you've ever lost in a single crypto investment?
So if you're strictly talking about one single investment, it's roughly like $10,000. So
Yeah.
it's not actually like that much. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was it? What was
So
the?
yeah, I actually lost it in Kalimata.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's a shame.
So that was back in like 2021 when I
Yeah.
first joined crypto and then started trying out like different DeFi protocols, and then I ended up making some money, and turned it and I eventually lost it all on Kalimata. It was like a
Yeah.
carbon credit focused platform.
Yeah, yeah, I remember it. Yeah, I remember that well. Yeah, it happens to the best of us. I mean, I've had some real clangers. I was actually laughing about some guys last night because they were posting the BNB chart, and I hadn't looked at it in a while. You know, the prices just kept marching upwards, and I sold all my BNB to buy a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, and so BNB's carried on going up, and BNB and Bored Ape's just gone down. So yeah, not good. Okay, cool. So the dare was to send a text to your parents saying you just become the CEO of Bitcoin. Are you down for this? I don't know if they'll text back, but is that something? You know, do you have the plums for that, James?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm the CEO of Bitcoin, right?
Yes, you are the
Let's
CEO of
do it.
Bitcoin.
I'll do it here.
He's sending it off. This is when your mum rings back and says, "Oh yes, I knew you'd be able to do
All right, give me a second.
it." Yeah, good. Oh man, you'll have to keep if they don't text back straight away. You'll have to let me know afterwards what they say. This is when you get a call.
Okay, I did it.
Nice. Congratulations on becoming the CEO of Bitcoin. Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, your plums are indeed very large for doing both of those, James. Thank you very much. And we've come to the end of this episode of Plums. James, awesome to spend time with you. You know, I'm super excited about Zona, where it's going. Love the thesis on this super app, being able to implement all these different angles, and as you say, your experience in real estate, knowing how it works in the real world, and bringing that on chain. The communities behind you. There's a lot of excitement and interest, and I'm very grateful for you coming on Plums today. Thank you very much, James.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Had so much fun talking to you. Like, I think you're legit like one of the funniest guys I know, like by far.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much, James. As I say, it's been a pleasure. We'll speak again very soon.
The information and discussion provided here is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Berry is not licensed to provide investment advice and does not offer such. Berry typically holds positions in the project and protocols he discusses and discloses that to you here. Opinions expressed by guests are theirs alone and do not necessarily reflect the views of Berry, Plums, or their affiliates. As with all things, and especially financial matters, please do your own research and consult with professionals where relevant.